Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. I see a one. We got a one. The wonderful thing about this is because the majority of us that are in the chat minutes at this moment happen to be us that are on the stage. That is one of the only ones that I'll be looking for. Okay, Lady Yo, you say you can hear me? I would hope you can, especially since you're backstage with us. Thank you, Precious. I forgot she a whole mod. Now that's the mod of all mods. Precious most certainly is a mod of all mods. Cold with it already in inviting the people in to like this live. And we're about to get started in a few more seconds. Oh, we got a second person here. Hey, Kendi K, welcome to the Chapmans. Appreciate you coming in, stopping by with us, Intentionally Random Broadcast. Welcome to the Chapmans. So glad to see you. Well, since we got a couple of people in, and we're going to get this discussion, because I don't know how long we're going to have this one. And as always, the ones that are coming in late or the ones that show up not at all until later on can always be kind and rewind. With that being the case, we'll be getting started in 3, 2, and 1. Welcome to the Intentionally Random Broadcast, where the topics are intentionally random and randomly intentional. Tonight, we will be discussing the theme, No Excuses November. We will attempt to discuss the challenges that accompany the lack of creating proper boundaries, the struggles that come with leaving comfort zones, and the traps of toxic relationships with the refusal to address them. Join us as
Anthony's Too Real
and yours truly, Tinamosho Show. Attempt to cut the fat out of those excuses to hold on to people, places, things, environments, and mindsets, and to hold ourselves accountable as we attempt to navigate the cusp of this holiday season. So if you will, lend us your ears, your minds, and a little bit of your undivided attention as we choose to put on our proverbial big draws to tackle this elusive enemy called excuses. Let's step into the real. Anthony's, how you doing tonight?
Yo, what's good? What's good? I'm super excited. I am on my phone. I don't like being on my phone, but yeah, I'm here, breathing, blinking, and blessed.
Lady Yo, how are you? So glad for you to see it tonight. How you doing? How you doing? How you living? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Glad to
Tiff's Take. I'm gonna stop putting the extra S's on your name eventually. How you doing tonight? So glad to see you.
Hey, Miss Tina, doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So glad that you were able to come into the place. Ampy Poo, how are you? How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you doing, Miss Tinamosho?
Okay, can't be any better. Hello. We in this piece. Just wanted to give a round of applause for all of our panel guests that decided to come up today with hey, what's the name of the show? Intentionally Random. Hello, Intentionally Random. And for the most part, what you all may or may not understand is the fact that today, in No Excuses November, we're going to be talking about a topic today that you may or may not be ready for. The topic of discussion for tonight is grown up conversations. Y'all ready tonight?
Let's go.
Yes.
I said, are you ready tonight?
We ready. We ready.
Let's go.
Now that I done got through with all the shenanigans of this, Casey, the one I see you. Appreciate you for stepping up. I mean, stepping in. Welcome to the Chapmans. We have a panel tonight. I'm so glad to be able to share the stage with these, my sisters. For those of you all who are willing to, and they're not the only ones. Well, they're the only ones that I spoke to, as far as personally asking them to come up because we the dream team of the ladies, the ladies' night. We're the dream team, And my host is back tonight. So glad to see her. Um, I'm so glad that you all are coming in. I see you, Yvette. Appreciate you for welcome to the Chapmans. Glad to see you tonight. Um, but I want to make sure that I am able to give the stage to you, those that are on the panel. We're going to do a small introduction, if you would. Miss Yolanda, let them know what your channel name is, and where you're streaming from, and give us a little bit about your channel.
Hello, everyone. I am Yolanda, and the name of my channel is Brit Family Fun. I am a lifestyle channel. I work out in a segment I affectionately call Get Fit with Brit and chat. Where I work out and just talk about whatever subject that comes to mind that day. Sometimes I do go live in the kitchen as well, and you'll see me invite my two youngest children in sometimes to stop by and say hello. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Miss Yolanda. I don't know what I was about to say right there, Miss Yolanda. I appreciate you introducing yourself in your wonderful channel. Feel by all means feel free to drop your link in the chat. So those of you that are in the chat, Miss, who want to get connected, please drop your chat so they can know where they can reach your channel. Um, Miss Tiff, if you would could you please let them know who you are, your channel name, and a little bit of something about your channel?
Hello, hello. My name is Tiffany, and my channel is Tiff's Take. And on my channel, I just do real talk, real reviews, and everyday living. So that's about it. Just vibing on YouTube.
I most definitely understand that. If you will, drop your link in the chat, miss, and let the people who desire to um, connect with you so they can be able to see what you have going on your channel as well. Because what we not going to do is block anyone's blessing. Because all of us are family, especially those of you all in the Are You Locked In community. We want to make sure that everyone who wants to check out your page is able to do so. Epi
Yes.
Pooh, how are you? I
I'm
didn't
doing
ask that question
amazing.
already, but I'm asking again. I'm sorry. Uh, so glad that you're up here. If you will, if you don't mind, could you let the people know the name of your channel and what you have to offer as far as the channel is concerned?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in to this night of Intentionally Random with my girl, Miss Tina Mo and Anthony. Okay, so my name is Epi. My channel name is called Epi Poo. So my channel basically consists of like my everyday life with me and my children and my husband. So it's kind of like a family channel. I do a little bit of everything, whether I'm in the kitchen cooking, I could be at a festival, at a fair event or something, or playing around my animals. I got a bearded dragon. I have a Great Dane. So you can catch a little bit of everything on my channel.
I had no idea that you had a Great Dane. You know, I be watching, but I guess I just be more so listening than watching. I knew you had a dog, but I didn't know that you had a Shetland pony. You, I
Yes,
most certainly am gonna have to watch a little more closely to see what's barking in the background.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I'm gonna start having her on my channel more. I do have a lot of videos with her in it. But the reason why I have yet to show her so much is because you guys know a Great Dane is a massive dog. So when I take her on
Yes,
walks and stuff, she really be taking me on walks. So I be embarrassed by having her drag me around the block, drag me around the park. So
I
I am
understand.
trying to get her a little bit more tamed, and then she can make some more premieres on my channel.
I get that most certainly. Too real. Last but not least, the co-host with the mostest and the best hostess in the United States of America. What's going
I'm
on?
what's up? What's up? I'm super
Y'all hear the bell?
excited.
Come
We
on.
have this is gonna be so good. Is this the first panel on Intentionally Random or no?
It is the first panel.
Okay, it's lit. It's so lit. Yes. I'm super excited. Thank everyone who pulled up. I truly appreciate it. If you are new here, because I know a lot of people are streaming it to their page, because when you pull up with us, everybody get ours. Yes. So if you are new and you don't know who I am, my name is Anthony Surreal, but a lot of people call me A2R. And that's it. I want to tell you what's on my channel. Go to my channel and see. Cause child, ain't nobody about to beg y'all for a sub. But how y'all doing today? I'm so excited to be here with y'all.
So glad to be up here with you as well. We missed you last week. You left me to my lonesome, but I didn't do too much of a bang up job. So I'm glad that you came back with all the energy. I always miss your energy. I always miss your presence whenever you're not here. So anytime you take a vacation or peruse the other side of the world, I'm glad when you make it back home safely. So
Yeah,
thank you for showing up tonight, making
yeah.
all our jobs a little easier.
Yes, I'm so excited to be back. You did so well though, Tina. And thank you. Like I really appreciate it. Like y'all, when I can't pull up, Tina be like, I got it. I can hold it down. I'm gonna hold it down. I got you. I'll be like, okay, thank you. I went to a wedding last week, y'all, with Ebony Elbow. It was super fun. You guys, if you missed it, go look. Oh well, her video gonna be coming out. But if you missed it, I did put it on my community page. I'm super excited to be back here with my favorite hostess with the mostest. Hey Tina, how you feel?
Hey, hey, I'm in this piece. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing what I'm doing, feeling how I'm feeling, and I'm feeling like I'm feeling because I'm still above ground. It's better to be seen than to be
Mm,
viewed. That's all I can tell you. You know, I ain't got nothing but smack, and applesauce for the people. Hello.
hmm. And we'll take it. Let's go. What we getting into?
We talking about these grown up conversations tonight. And at any given time you want to chime in by any means, please do so. I know that you all are accustomed to things being a little more orthodox or having a little more of a um outline. I know y'all have been spoiled by Elevated, you know. Elevated came in and he have all his little notes together and he have all of the questions and whatnot. This ain't that. We having a grown up conversation. And you know how grown folks conversations are. You start
They
talking
just
about a thing and
conversate.
that thing get
Right.
real on you. Hello.
Yeah.
Hmm.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight though is this whole thing about not wanting to tell people no,
Mm,
Mm,
no, no,
mm.
just no. You know the complete sentence? No, no,
yeah.
absolutely not. No. I'm gonna let you all think about that and marinate on it just a moment. Just a moment while I tried my best to acknowledge some of these people that have entered into the chatments. Because when I tell you that we have a barrage of people that have run into here like I was giving away turkeys or something, I ain't never seen this many people before. But I'm glad they showed up. Hello, somebody. Look at that. The bells is ringing. The bells are ringing. Okay, let me see
Welcome
here.
in, welcome in, welcome in, everybody.
Yes, welcome them in. Welcome them in. Now this is like jump rope. Y'all know how to double dutch. Some of y'all done double dutch before. And now I'm gonna tell you right now. I I I almost told on myself. It's a lot of things that I could do. A lot of dances that I could do. One of them I could never do was double dutch. I never figured it out. I don't know what it was about the rhythm of hippity and hopping on these two ropes. I could never get it together. But what I can tell you is that if you say something, we will listen. And so be feel free to jump in whenever you get ready to let us know after I acknowledge these folks out in the chat miss, to let us know what you think about that word as it pertains to know. Now, don't forget, this is a grown up conversation. So we're not going to be sitting around and trying to hold nobody up. We're not going to stop you from saying what you need to say. Get it off your chest because this is grown folks conversation. I spoke to Precious earlier, but I'm so glad I want to go ahead and acknowledge you again. Appreciate you so much, Precious, for showing up into the chat miss. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You know what? I'm looking at my own chat miss as if I don't need to look at all the other ones. All of us are connected. Boy, I tell you what, let me bag up a little bit. Precious, PGA Bishop. Welcome to the Chapmans. Thank you for showing up, sir. I always appreciate when the men come into the space, even though there are so many ladies. Now I know it's a lot to look at out there. You know, there's a lot of beautiful, wonderful women out there, and up here on the panel. So anytime you come in and have something good to say, something positive to say, other than saying something crazy like women ain't worth a quarter, I'm glad for you to be in the space. And so we appreciate your presence. Candy K all day. I think I said something to you earlier. Appreciate your presence. Welcome to the Chapmans. We have a Judy Williams in the space. Appreciate your presence as well. Welcome to the Chapmans. Um, the Supreme team is in the motor scooting building. Thank you, Supreme, showing up. And yes, you the fifth like and support. We see you. Appreciate you. Welcome into the Chapmans. Um, who else do we have here tonight? And it might take me a couple of seconds because there's so many of y'all in here. It's amazing. It's wonderful.
We got
Lisa
a
J.
shout out.
Stocks. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, say that again.
Oh, I was going to say shout out to Chill Rock. We got GB. We got Rudy in the house. Appreciate you guys for being here.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Lisa J. Appreciate you. Welcome to the Chapman's Faith Marie. See you. Welcome to the Chapmans. Appreciate you as well. Oh, you said Chill Rock. Welcome to the Chapmans. Who else do we have here? Because I know this has access to everybody that's in the building. So if they say something on there, they most certainly will see them. KC the One, welcome to the Chapmans. Yvette Williams, I know I said something to you earlier. Welcome to the Chapmans. Trying to get down to the Anthony's. Anthony's, you got about 12 different. Hold on. Wait a minute. YouTube royalty is in the building. Mrs. Supreme, appreciate you for coming into these Chapmans tonight. And I know y'all tired of me waving at everybody. I just want to make sure that I speak and not be rude as a hostess today because we're gonna get so deeply into these things that I might skip quite a few messages. Monique, appreciate you. Welcome to the Chapmans. Trisha Nicole, welcome to the Chapmans. Allison, Map, welcome to the Chapmans. Fantastic. Welcome to the Chapmans. Uh, I wonder how. Oh, I'm getting close, ladies of iTalk. So appreciate you so much. Appreciate your presence. Welcome to the Chatness. Um, who? Let me see. Let me see. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm almost there, y'all. It's about to get started. Rudy, I appreciate your presence. I saw that you had uh subscribed earlier. I wasn't ignoring you, but I did see it. But my hands were busy. I appreciate you for coming in. Welcome to the Chatness. Ghost. Appreciate you for showing up. Welcome to the Chapmans. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. KC, see you. I think that might be up. I done made it to the bottom. Oh, no, I didn't. Micah, always as always, I want to always like to roll out the blue carpet for you. Appreciate you for coming in. Welcome to the Chapmans. And I think this coffee no cream. Welcome to the Chatmas. I see you. Appreciate your presence as well. Let me see. I'm making it. I'm making it. I'm making it. Capital D Jewel. Welcome to the Chapmans. These are some of your people, Britt. Yolanda. I go calling you by your channel name. I know who you are, lady. You know who you are.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, now y'all have had at least 5 to 25 minutes worth of marination on this question at hand.
Ooh.
And while I would start at Yolanda, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit and start with Tiff. What do you think as it pertains to saying no to people?
Saying no. It is definitely something that gets easier the older that you get.
Hmm.
Um, saying no gets a whole lot easier when you get older. But I think that it also depends on the circumstance that you are put in. For me, when it comes to people asking for money, finances, can I use your credit? I have absolutely no problem telling somebody no for those things. And really, you have to think about a lot of people, they'll be upset that they get a no, but those same people that you give a no to, you couldn't go to them and ask them for anything anyway. So you shouldn't feel bad about telling somebody no.
Absolutely. I most certainly agree with that. Because the older I get, the stronger my nose get. And not
Yes,
only do I say it with my chest, I say it with my fist balled up and my feet to the ground. I'm telling you. Yes, indeed.
yes, whole lot of conviction.
A whole lot of conviction. Absolutely. Epi Pooh, coming to you live into the
Yes,
stage.
ma'am.
What do you think as it pertains to saying no? I know you have children, you have a spouse. What do you think about as it pertains to saying no? Now, to remind you, this is grown up conversations. So anything that come to your mind, just let it fly. Oh,
Okay.
Jesus.
Um, I feel like I definitely can agree when Tiff said saying no definitely gets easier the older you get because it really does. Like especially with my children, saying no when they was younger, sometimes I used to feel some type of way. But now as I have young adults, I say no in 2.1 seconds. No. And no means no. Don't come back and ask me again about something. Don't go ask your daddy. No is no.
I know that's right, and I understand most certainly. Um, because when I was raising children, let me tell you something. No was my favorite word. No. Don't even look this direction. No. What did I say a few minutes ago? No. And I'm not going to repeat it. Because after I done said it,
Exactly.
that meaningful no, the one that, where you stare into their soul and dare it to return the same way. Yeah. Yeah. I've had a plenty of no's when it comes to the kids.
Definitely.
Um,
I've also learned that my no is getting easier dealing with adults my age, older adults, people that I come in contact with day to day or people I've known for years, months, days. My no is becoming easier to say. Um, whereas, when I was younger, I used to feel some type of way about saying no to people. I can admit that when I was younger, I definitely was more of like trying to not hurt somebody's feelings and not make somebody feel uncomfortable and not say no. But now I definitely stand on my no.
I most certainly understand that. And can concur. Before I get to you, Yolanda, because I'm coming, I'm on the way. I'm gonna give you a couple more seconds to think about that. No, I just want to acknowledge a couple of people that I see in the chat. Daily Sips with Jazzy J. Appreciate you for coming into the chat, miss. I don't see you very often, but when I do, I am so blessed to see your presence. Uh, uh, Whenever I see you, welcome to the chat, miss. And I got to roll out the carpet for the pink, the purple, and the red hearts in the chat. My favorite YouTube pastor, Just Danielle 365, is in the chat, miss. Thank you for showing up. And at any given time, you decide you want to come up into the panel and have a word or two to say. By all means, come on up, come on down, and tell us about these. No. Yes, the carpet. I've been rolling out all the carpets for you, most certainly. Um, Lady Yo, what that no mean to you? Talk to us tonight.
It's is easier. It gets easier with your kids. Even like who said when they were get as they get older. Um, but I do wholeheartedly admit I struggle when it comes to uh family. I'm not gonna do this today. Um, when it comes to family dynamics, um, and saying no. So that is something that I'm still working on, and it is not easy, but I believe that sooner than later, it will get much better by just putting on my Peruvial big draws, as Tina Mo would say, and just saying it and let the chips fall where they may, because people have no problem saying no to me or not saying anything at all. So I'll just leave it there so I won't start with the uh emotions.
Well, that's all right. We might have an emotion or two. Whether that emotion is anger, then the emotion is distress, or that emotion have you crying buckets of water. It's all right because they didn't stop making Kleenex when for this day. So, but I appreciate what you said about that family. That we go because we coming back around to that. I most certainly, as it pertains to saying no to family, it is not easy, especially when you could be tenderhearted as it pertains to those that are closest to you.
Yeah.
Too real. Need your thoughts to step into the Chapmans, to step into the panel, step up to the mic. Too real, and tell them what you think about that. No,
Testing, testing, one, two, three. No hit. So different for me. Cause
yeah,
I tell y'all, I'm just
bars. Come on.
okay. I just wanted to give y'all a little sneak peek of what y'all
Hmm.
be saying. But I'm gonna be honest with you. No hit different for me because I didn't realize how much I said yes until I started saying no. And the thing that helped me along my no journey was I previously did not really say no because I was afraid of like the reaction I was gonna get when I told people no. Me not saying no, I said yes a whole lot when I really wanted to say no, but all of that is tied to like people pleasing and stuff. But now no be so easy for me. No comes just like simply no. I don't provide an excuse. Unless I choose to. Of course, like I'm not gonna be rude or nothing, but I used to feel like when I used to say no, that I had to explain why I was saying no. But then I started thinking like hell, when people tell me no, don't nobody tell me why. It just be hell no. Well, they don't say hell no. I was just thinking like hell. They just say no. Like they don't care how it made me feel or nothing. And another thing that helped me with saying no was I noticed the same people that I used to say yes to. Like I can tell you 100 yeses, and as soon as I say 101, like on 101 time, I say no. Now people want to move funny or act different. So sometimes it be yeah, but sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I might say no just to see like how a person do because child, everybody be something until you like make them prove what they is. But sorry, that's my thank y'all for listening to my TED talk.
Justin, yes, said, I started reframing my no. I am not saying no to you. Really, I am saying is yes to me. I
Mm,
don't deserve some of the yes I have showered everyone else with. Oh, hold on. I read that wrong. Don't I deserve some
mm.
of the yeses I have showered everyone else with? I know that's right.
Yes, honey, where my big bell at? Cause this need a big bell.
Um, I know I went down the line in asking about our no's. And I got everyone else's perspective, mainly because um, everyone has a different perspective to some degree as it pertains to no. You'd be amazed at how many people say there's a no and there's always a caveat. No, but. But I'm like, but I thought no was a complete sentence. It's no, but if my parent asked me to do such so and so, maybe, or it's a no, but if the boss says such and so and so, then I got to. It's a no, but they really need this, that, and the other, and you find a way to turn your no that you should be standing 10 toes down on, and you turn it into a yes. Before I move forward, though, I see a YouTube celebrity in the building. Kiss from Jay. Kiss from Jay. If you decide at any given time you would love to step up into the panel, feel free to do so. We'd love to have you. There is an open panel tonight for those of you all who do not know, or those of you all who have decided to uh, come up. This is an open panel, including men. This is not ladies' night. This is just the ladies from ladies' night. The dream team is up here right now. But of course, want all of you all who have something to say to be able to within reason, because y'all do know that I carry the big wrench at a couple of spots. And so we ain't going for no crazy stuff up here. However, if you got something that you can add to the conversation, feel free to come on up. The link is in the chat. So for those of you all who decide to pop on up, come on up. And I'll let you onto the stage within reason. Hello, Jeffrey. Appreciate your presence. See you. So glad that you have decided to come and hang out with us. Welcome to the Chapmans. What I have to say about no as well is the thing that sometimes a person does not take into consideration is who groomed our no. We've been taught to say no when it comes to the stranger, stranger danger. Yes, big wrench energy. Absolutely. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me put that on the stage right quick. Tina got big wrench energy. Yes, ma'am. I sure do. And if anybody get it wrong, you will see how that big wrench works. No pause. Um, but this is the thing that I was saying as it pertains to no. When it comes to no, you have to take into consideration who groomed your no. Who told you that it's not okay to say no if someone puts you in a predicament or in a situation that you don't feel like is right? Coming to the stage, we have, as I pause for the cause, none other than Kiss from Jay. Hello, how are you?
Hey, ladies. I'm doing
Hey, yes.
amazing. How are all of y'all doing?
We
Good.
got the dream team
Amazing.
up here. Hey, how
Hey.
you doing?
Hey, hey.
Period. Y'all already knows the dream team in the building.
Dream
Period.
team in the
Yeah.
building.
Yes. I'm so excited. I didn't even realize that this was going on. I was editing my video. I got back on here. I was like, hold on. Not gonna see it all live chat. Let me find out what's going on.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, check this out.
Mhm.
While you're up here and you got a moment, please let the people know who you are, and let them know what your channel is about. And by all means, please drop your channel in the link for those who are interested in connecting with you.
Well, child, don't mind if I do. You know what I'm saying? So, for everyone that don't know your girl, if you don't know this voice, hello, it's your girl Jay. Kiss from Jay, the Kiss Squad in the building. You feel me? So make sure y'all tune in because I'm gonna be doing everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, chill. Period. So I do vlogs. I like family content. I'm huge on family, y'all. I love my community here. Y'all will always see me supporting everybody, getting everybody on my channel. I love being able to be in contact with anybody. So if you do not know who I am, please, by all means, come over to my channel, check me out. I would love to have you on my show. But big shout out to my girl Tina because she out here in these streets trying to turn it. I think she think her daddy on the streets, child, because she been doing her big one, child, like her, period. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So don't play with my girl now. I do have my name on one of these streets or two of these streets, but god dang, shorty, what the hell? Like, yeah, my girl be doing her big one. Per usual, period. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to read this chat, and I'm finna get it. I'm going coming back to you in just a second, Lady J. In my opinion, especially when it comes to a relationship, when you give so much and do so much for that person, but you're not going getting anything in back in return, and that's when I say no when they are not. And I understand that when there's no reciprocation, when you can't be reciprocal, and when I can't get no reciprocity, like Lauren Hill used to say, when you can't give me back what I'm putting in, she cut them cords. Hello. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Indeed.
Lady J. Oh, I see someone. Susanna, so glad to see you. Appreciate you for stepping up. You're always very, very supportive. I see you in just about every live I'm ever in. Thank you. Appreciate your presence. Welcome to the Chapmans. Lady J, what are your first thoughts as it pertains to no?
My first thoughts as it pertains to no. My first thoughts as it pertains to no is taking what I believe in me and holding it to me, and it's not for anyone else. You know what I'm saying? Like when I think of me saying no, I think of me taking my power back. I feel like it's me choosing me over you. And I feel like that's always been a problem for me when I was younger. I feel like I always supported everyone else. I feel like I told this story a lot, but it's because it's true. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always like held more people. I put more people in front of me than I do myself. So, yeah, as I got older and I realized that me saying yes so much was the reason why everyone else always said no to me, it's because I didn't care enough to put myself first. And if I put myself first, that means I will be saying no to more people because I'll be saying yes to me more. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel like when it comes to no, it just kind of means that I'm putting myself first and I'm actually caring for myself and I care for my future and I care for my well being. And I care to know that what I'm doing in my present time is going to affect my future. So I want to make sure that whatever it is, whoever it is, like whatever I may be doing, I want to make sure that I'm saying yes to my future and I'm saying no to anything that's holding me back.
I know that's right. Um, and that's the thing about when it comes to no, and I know it's real, real generic in the moment. Because I want to step into some other issues as well. And Lafita, if you, the link is in the chat, you should be able to see it. Then again, I don't know whose chat you're in, but the link is in the chat on my page and on Two Reels page. So if you decide you want to come up, by all means do so. We still have room for you. I always love your input as well. Um, and so if you see the link and decide to come on up, come on up. Tiff is putting it into the Chapmans right now. So step on up if you want to, Lafita. Um, Another thing that I wanted to delve into is, which I had touched on just a moment ago, as it pertains to grooming. Who groomed your no? Who told you it wasn't okay to say no when something is hurting you? Who told you it wasn't okay to say no um, when the individual who's telling you to say no tells you to say no to everyone except for themselves? How
Oh,
many times have we been in positions where we have been taught to say no, except for when it's time in their minds for us to say yes? I've had some experiences in my life where, of course, I was taught to say no to drugs. Well, I didn't listen to that. Lord knows I was smoking all of the trees, you know. Um, and I had to pop me a few ecstasy too, or a lot of them at one point in time. But hey, they was out and about. I was, swinging them at one point in time, and I done had me some. But beyond that, the saying no to the drugs, they told me, I was taught well coming up. Uh, Say no to strangers, or don't even talk to them. in a lot of regards. There's an automatic no when it came to not speaking to strangers, not being in spaces that will cause me to be in some kind of compromise. But what happens when the person that you've been depending on to be your a parental factor, or what happens when um, the individual has some kind of or some sort of authority over you? Um, what happens if it's your pastor? What happens if it's your parent, your mother, your father, and they tell you to do something that goes outside of your comfortability as it pertains to no, or your conscience as it pertains to no? Um, what do you think, Antonice, as it pertains to when a person um, who's in authority is trying to groom your no into a yes?
I'm gonna just be whole heart. I'm just be honest. That will so okay, because I know we got like a panel, and I want to take up too much time. Long story short, I'm gonna just say when a person with authority just be trying to like do all of that and be out with that groom and stuff, it started to kind of give me like manipulation vibes a little bit. Especially if you want me to say no to everybody else, but always yes to you. That kind of like give me like my spider senses like start tingling. Mm-mm.
Oh, you don't have to worry about the time, Anthony's. I mean, if you need to drop it and dip, then drop and dip. But as far as these folks, if they can't stay, you know where they can go, and they can always come back and replay. And then when I say, oh, here we go with the disclaimer, first one of the night. When I say that they can go, I'm not telling them to go nowhere. Like that. I'm just saying if they need to leave, excuse themselves, depart from the live. It is okay because we're going to have this on each of our channels so you can watch it later. Watch the stuff that you didn't pick up now. So by all means, if you need to leave the panel, if you need to leave the Chapmans, if you need to leave life, as a whole, we are not stopping you. Now, I wouldn't advise that you leave life as a whole. We want you to keep breathing. But if it be the case that you need to excuse yourself, by all means, if you don't hold up your Baptist finger, your Jehovah's Witness finger, your atheist finger, whatever finger you got, if you ain't got no fingers, if you just decide to leave without holding up nothing, it's okay because we're
Oh,
gonna be here and we're gonna rock out. And I'm not gonna say the rest of what Supreme normally says, but we're gonna keep on going.
Don't be raggedy.
No, I'm not gonna be raggedy today.
oh, hold on,
Um,
y'all. What's
How?
the agree to disagree podcast? Hit the link and come up here. I
uh
mean, if
oh,
you able to
who you? Oh, you said.
get my chat.
Oh, okay, I see, I see, I see. Come on up. By
Okay.
all means, come
So
on up.
can I put my answer next?
Yes,
Well,
go ahead, jump
my
in.
bad.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance.
So
I didn't want to interrupt and say, hey, but what's up, Sugar Kisses? Hey, girl.
hey, what's up, my girly girl? You know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
What's poppin'?
Nothing, girl. I'm so
Yes.
excited to have a panel. Maybe I hope we could do like a panel like at least once a month. This is like so dope to just hear other people's perspective. And I know a lot of times when y'all be in the
Yeah.
comments stuff in the chat means people probably want to say stuff, but I ain't gonna lie, I be having a lot to say, y'all, but I don't be wanting to type all of that.
I feel you and I completely understand.
True.
But yes, what you was
Hmm.
about to say, Queen, you got it.
Yes, girl. So I was kind of gonna say in the beginning of what Tina was saying, she was pretty much like who groomed your no. I kind of
Hmm.
feel like it has to do more so with society and social media when it comes to majority of the population. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
feel like people look at it as if they're being alienized if they do anything that's outside of what is trending or what is the now. You know what I'm saying? And it makes you feel out of place. So it's amazing for people to be able to know within themselves what they like and what they dislike versus having to go along with what is being liked and being disliked by a population in a whole. So I kind of feel like when it comes to what grooms your nose, it has a lot to do with what society puts in front of your face. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that people are saying no to, and it's only because it's by popular demand versus it being because that's how you actually feel. So I just kind of feel like if people are more like true to themselves and what they feel within themselves, and not because they're thinking of what other people may think, you know what I'm saying, they would probably be better off in life. They'll probably be further in life. And that has a lot to do with judgment and like bad comments, or like feeling isolated or anything like that. I feel like a whole lot of that um makes people and grooms people's nose.
I wholeheartedly agree that even when it comes to how we're raised, there was a societal norm at one point in time, whether your parent was a Gen Xer or your parent was a baby boomer or your parent may have been part of the silent generation, greatest generation, whatever generation they want to call it. When you see how things were at one point in time, they used to talk about having the American dream, which was to be married with two kids, with a dog and a white picket fence and a fish or something. And
Hmm.
now the American dream is to become uh, a multimillionaire with no children, being able to sleep with as many people as you want to. It changed over the years, and so sometimes you have to take a moment and who's this? Mic check. When I see who you are, I most certainly will see who is Mike Check. Does anyone know Mike Check?
That's agree to disagree. No, I think that's one of them.
Oh, okay.
I hope that's one of them. Now don't come up here with no funny stuff. If they ain't who that think I am, come in here and don't be who I think you is. And watch what happen. Watch what happen, y'all.
They still buffering. They might need to.
Y'all cover y'all ears for like 5 seconds, and I'm glad we don't got no pictures on. Cause remember one time I was on live and, child,
They can come try to come back up to the stage. Um,
what you was saying?
what I was saying about as it pertains to society and how the societal norms had a lot of influence on how people raised their children. And when it came, I mean, even church culture was different at one point in time. Just Danielle said, you have to cultivate resilience and self-reliance when you say no, and understand that you will not be accepted by everyone, no matter how many yeses you give. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. But that's the thing about having resilience, is that thing starts somewhere. You begin to understand those principles early on in life so that you begin to put those things into practice early enough to where when you do have those times in your life where you have that bump in the road with someone and you need to have that firm no, that no stays a no. And not everyone came up in places where that resilience was taught. Because a lot of times we have people that feel like after you didn't ask me about two, three times, I'm going to go ahead and do um, whatever it is you want me to do. I don't know why you didn't, but you can always come back. Matter of fact, let me drop. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. Oh nope, you trying to come back in again? Not sure what's going on, but I did drop the link. I mean, well, here it is right here. I dropped the link in the comments section. So if you can't, if you're, I don't know whose link you're using, but if you use either one of those under Tinamosho, show, that's me. I'm wearing a different outfit and my hair is different, but that's me. And Too Real, either one of those, and try to come up from there. But back to what I was saying, even when it came to church culture was different. I came up at a time where you didn't wear no pants to church. They would be like,
Mm-hmm.
Me
"What is wrong
either.
with you?" Yes, yes.
No.
Exactly.
The young men didn't wear hats. to church, you'd had on a suit and tie or at least a nice pair of pants or something. Um,
And I don't care if you was just going for Bible study or choir practice, you still had to put on a skirt.
That part.
Mom wasn't having that. No pants at church for the ladies.
Definitely. Okay, mic check drop down again. I don't know what's going on. I did bring them up on the stage. Don't know who that is. You're on the stage now. You're buffering.
Mike check. What's up? Check your Wi-Fi. Y'all, he might be having issues because when I recorded with them, I did notice they don't. So I noticed a lot of people don't use StreamYard. A lot of other streamers use like the in studio stuff like with YouTube, or I think they use like Stream. I think it was like Stream Lab or something. But so I don't know, but is it clear now? No, who is that? Oh, that's Jay on the end. Oh, her picture went away. Okay. I mean her video. I don't know what's wrong with his thing. I thought that was my junk, like my Wi-Fi messing up. But then when I seen it was on the screen, then I was like, oh, okay, that ain't me. That's him.
Hmm. Can you
Mm.
hear me?
We can hear you,
Definitely
Yes.
can hear you.
but
Hmm.
that's cool. What's up?
What's going on? I'm sorry for the ghetto Wi-Fi. I don't know what's going on.
It's
Yeah, you
all
just
good.
don't have a picture. If you would be so kind to introduce yourself, are you a content creator?
I am a new content creator. Yes, as of a couple of months ago. I've had a
Okay,
channel. I've had a channel for years. I'm a beat maker, producer, but I've kind of branched off into the content creation aspect of the internet, just to have conversations with everybody. It's a small community, and I like to just network and have conversations that you would normally have on a telephone, on a cell phone. You just want to bring it to the internet because we all have interesting conversations that build each other up. That we can all gain a perspective from each other, and I think more of that needs to be shown. To the world. I would say the World Wide Web, because we all have similar ideas. They may not all agree, but we definitely can learn a lot from different people's perspectives. We don't all have to agree all the way, but there's a lot to be learned from different perspectives.
absolutely. Right, Check. I want to officially welcome you to the panel. I've never seen you before. Of course, you're new to me,
Hmm.
but if you would be so kind to let the audience know your channel name, channel name, and what your channel brings to the stage.
Sure. So our channel is Agree to Disagree podcast. I added the A2D at the beginning because it's a lot of Agree to Disagree podcasts that I've known, that I've discovered. So just for the sake of the search, I put the A2D in the front. Basically, this is a I want to say it's a men's advocate channel, but it's really a family advocate channel. It's a relationship advocate channel. We talk a lot about relationships. We talk a lot about family dynamics, rearing sons and daughters. Sometimes we break down, current events, but for the most part, we focus on self development, family development, and relationship development.
Wonderful. I'll make sure to, and if you would be so kind to drop. Okay, your channel has been dropped into the chat. Miss, appreciate your presence.
No problem.
As always, we appreciate any male men that come into our midst. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked the panel guests as it pertains to what comes to your mind first as it pertains to no. And I want to also ask you, while you have a moment on the stage, what do you think about as it pertains to people that initially has groomed your no?
I think he dropped down again.
Oh, okay. Back to the lecture at hand. I don't know if he comes back up, then he comes back up. If not, well, if he comes back up, if he's listening, he comes back up. He'll be able to expound on what we were talking about. But I don't want to skip you all because I do know that I was just asking you all what you thought about. Jay, you went first. Um, what did you think, Tiff, as it pertains to those who try to or those who have groomed your no?
Am I back?
Yes, you definitely are back.
Okay, I apologize. I don't know what I tapped, but it kicked me out. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Um, if you would hold on just a moment, because I want to let go ahead and let allow Tiff to
Okay.
answer the question at hand,
Okay.
which is what are your thoughts as it pertains to groom those in authority at grooming your no? Tiff, you still there?
I think she probably stepped away for a moment.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I am. Um,
Okay.
so I don't think that I've ever even necessarily been in, well, I guess I have been in that predicament. But I think that it was more grooming on me and preying on me in my childhood days to where
Hmm.
just innocence alone did not allow for me to say no because mentally I couldn't even wrap my head around what was going on, in the situation. Um, so I can see where, people can kind of hold a power or possess power over younger people, but that's what it's all about when it comes to really building up a strong mind. Um, but then also, coming from a strong background, a strong home. And then as parents, we do actually have to take the time out to practice life situations. We you don't think that you would have to, but you kind of do have to practice putting your kids into life situations, whether it be like stranger danger or inappropriate affections from an adult, so that they are aware with how to act and how to say no. When you know better, you do better. So we just have to be more aware as adults to teach these things to kids so that they know how to navigate through that no.
I most certainly agree with you. That was one of the reasons why I said I was asking a question about the grooming of your no because we all learn how to say no from somewhere. While I do understand a concept of there are people who mostly their nose were groomed by maybe their siblings or they were in situations where their nose were groomed after they went to school. But I'm like, but you learned how to say no when you were little. You learned how to say no. You learned what no meant when you were little, and growing up into different spaces of life, we're exposed to different elements, different levels of what that no means, different arenas as it pertains to what we're saying no to, what we're not, when we don't want to be involved with, and our whys to our no. Going back to you, um, I'm sorry, what's your name? Mike? Is it
Yes.
Mike? Yes,
Mhm.
Mike. I want to get your first thoughts on what you think about as it pertains to no.
That's that's a deep question. I would say I was just thinking about it as I was listening. I would say a lot of it is DNA. A lot that I can't take credit for. I have a father that's very strict, very direct, very matter of fact. Um, so that kind of just like is in me, instilled in me, just DNA wise. But biblically, I would say a scripture that always stuck with me is let your yes mean yes and your no mean no.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, if you say yes to something that you don't want, now you become a slave to that thing, and now you
Mm-hmm.
have to play the game and play the game, and now you lose yourself. And so I've learned that saying no is a strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's a protection because the more you say yes, the more you kind of like I don't know, a feather in the wind, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. You're just guided by compromise. You're guided by just get going along to get along. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, So to answer your question, I would say most of it is DNA that I can't take credit for, and the other half of it is just life experience and that scripture that stuck with me, and just life experience of saying yes to things that you don't want to say yes to, and seeing the cause of it. And so saying no is pretty much a protection for me, and it protects my energy.
Absolutely. Secondarily, I want to ask the question that we're currently going through, which is, what do you consider to be the main factors of the grooming of your no? And all of, and when I say the grooming of your no, I mean all of what. Um, well, actually, that's actually not the question. That's a question that popped in my mind as you were speaking. What I originally was talking about is when people try to groom your no's into yeses. In our first stages, as it pertains to no. Um, always come from some kind of authority figure or societal norm or what have you. But as it pertains to your no, who do you think was your bigger influence as it pertains to authority figures in your life, um, in relation to your no?
Is that still me? We still on me?
Yes, absolutely.
Huh. I see these questions sound easy, but they're not really, because it makes you think. Who groomed me? Again, I would have to say my dad, because I lived with him briefly for a couple of years. I lived with my mom most of my life, and then I moved with my dad during my adolescence. So, like I said again, he was just a matter of fact. He was a matter of fact guy. You know, he stood on principle. His yes was yes, and there's no, even though he wasn't a spiritual man per se, some of his ideologies aligned with the scripture. So, um, just watching him and how he moved as a man and stood on business, that kind of groomed me to like I said, I don't know if I'm really answering the question because I just popped in. I don't know the deep premise of it, but just based on the question that you asked me, just watching him and how he moved and how he operated, and the peace that he got from that wasn't always in mess. He was very intentional about everything that he stood for. Very intentional about the people he kept around him. It was just he just didn't have a lot of drama around him. When you stand firm on what you believe and you're willing to say no for whatever reason, you keep down the chaos. So that's one thing I just kind of picked up from him and carried on into my life.
That's certainly a good thing anytime you have strong guidance, especially from a man, that you have that kind of memory. Even though you touched on the fact that you didn't live with him very long, but in the time that you did stay there, he made that much of an impression on you, even though you didn't know him to be churched, but his principles came from Scripture. I appreciate the fact that he was willing to instill those values in you, so much so that you can look back and say, "I learned these things from my father."
Right.
And it causes you to be a stronger individual as a man, and even better individual for society, just because of that. Um, and I appreciate you sharing with us that, of course. Um, I want to stop and pause for a moment. We'll be coming to the other ladies in just a moment. We have. I saw a couple of names that popped up in the chat. Renee Suzanne, thank you. Appreciate you for hanging out with us and showing up in the Chapmans. Welcome to the Chapmans, rather. Thank you for hanging out with us. Mind Chaos Brew. I am rolling out the red carpet for you. I appreciate you, Raw, for coming in to support us as we having these grown up conversations, having these discussions concerning our no's, um, and all that entails. I appreciate you for showing up and supporting us. Welcome to the Chapmans. If you feel the need or desire to come up onto the stage, the link is actually in the chat somewhere. But if you need me to drop it again, by all means, uh, have a swing at it if that's what you would like to do. Kendall, thank you for showing up. I see you. Appreciate you. for stepping into the chatness as well. Um, and so I want to go back to you two, real. I know you are. You were discussing just a moment ago about how um, some of the things that you ended up learning as it pertains to your parents as well. And even when you touched on things as it pertains, I think you said something about your friends. Am I correct? Too real.
My bad, y'all. Y'all know I'm on my phone, and I really don't like getting on StreamYard from my phone. I'm gonna just be honest. I know nobody asked me that. Oh, what's up? I ain't even trying to be funny. I'm like, nah, this. Now I done invited him to the panel. Now his wife I want to be all shady. What's up? Welcome to the chat. Now you said, are you talking about when I tell people no, Tina?
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say, y'all. Now y'all know normally not because this intentionally random. Now normally y'all we run for like 1 hour, right? So I'm finna stay on here, but now I'm about to get on the move. But what I was about to say is, I noticed sometimes when I used to tell certain people no, like they used to act different versus when I used to say yes. So y'all ain't never been through that type of one in the chat. If you notice with somebody, even if it only happened one time in your life, let's be honest. We're working on the honor system, guys. If you notice, type of one in the chat. If you notice to where some people, or even if it's only one person, you notice they act different when you tell them yes versus when you tell them no. Oh, so only one person? Well, you know what? I'm going to just say, thank God for Jesus, because, baby, when I tell you that just make you feel different, because then it make you feel like, dang, is they only rocking with me because I'm saying yes? Then, ooh, y'all. Oh, okay, we got some ones. Okay. I mean, because if I had to feel alone by myself, I'm okay with admitting that because it may be somebody else that's not comfortable, like expressing it in the chat. So I totally get it. But yeah, I noticed like people used to act different. Now in reference to the grooming portion,
Mm-hmm.
I'll say I noticed, and maybe that just comes from, your environment or like what you see. Um, I'll just say I grew up in a I ain't trying to make you sound bad. I love my family. But I say a yes community.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because I just noticed like people don't really say no. And I noticed not saying no, like that make you not have boundaries. Like me not being able to say no or always just saying yes, that's gonna turn me into a people pleaser. Like for a really long time in my life, like I was a people pleaser and didn't even know it. And I'm like, dang, why do I always just feel like I can't say no? It was like at a point to where y'all I felt like I could not say no. Like, yes was the bad word. I mean, like, no was the bad word, but y'all know what I mean.
Yes, I most certainly
I definitely
understand.
agree.
Yes, yes, indeed. No was a bad word, especially if you were a child. We have someone else new that has stepped up to the stage. Hold on, ladies. Hold on to your horses. We're most certainly coming back to you all, asking you some of the same questions. But we have YouTube royalty that has stepped onto the stage. So glad to see you, known as Mind Chaos Brew. If you would be so kind to let us know what your name is, your channel name, what you prefer to be known as, and give us a glimpse of what it's like to be on your channel. And if you will, drop your own channel into the link for those who would like to connect with you.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hello, everybody. My name is Roy G. My channel name is Mind Chaos Brew. On my channel, you're gonna get a little bit of everything because I'm into a lot of stuff. But I just came up here to support Miss Tina because Miss Tina is always supporting me and showing love. I think this is a good conversation and I had a couple of minutes. So I was like, let me slide up here and show y'all all some love. How y'all doing?
Doing great, doing wonderful.
Yep, not too
Um,
bad.
Good. Hey, and I love your profile pic. I said, yes, I've never seen one in motion. What's
Right.
up? I'll be listening to you and your husband. What's up?
Nothing much. Hello, hello. Yes, and if anybody is looking
Well,
to
I go by
get,
Why. I don't know
yes,
if you know me, but I do be watching y'all stuff. So it's nice to meet you. And it's like, yes, okay, you on the channel. Okay, yes.
yes, ma'am. And if you guys ever want to get a moving avatar or whatever, just hit me up on the email, thebutterflyprogressive@gmail.com. I don't have no problem helping people to create wonderful art.
I want to pose this question to you while we have you on the stage, because
Yes,
I
ma'am.
do know that you are a lady of a whole lot of things to do, to say the least. Um, and I, of course, appreciate your time and you sharing with us. What are your thoughts as it pertains to the word no? And secondarily, what I want to ask you is, who do you think was the most influential, or what were the influences as it pertains to your no, negative or positive, as it pertains to authority figures of your life?
Well, the young lady that was just speaking about how, no can become a hindrance because it makes people a people pleaser. In my family, no was a cornerstone for everything. You had to earn a yes coming from where I'm from. So I've always been very comfortable with the word no. No, I can't help you. No, I'm not helping you move. No, I can't give you $20. No. I,
I know that's
I just,
right.
yes, I just love the word no. Now I do have problems with it from time to time because I'm not gonna lie to you. I like to keep relationships open and viable. When people hear the word no, a lot of people have a reaction that's based on ego, so then they start to foster resentment. So I think in interpersonal relationships, you have to be very intentional with no, because no helps you to set boundaries. Now, when it comes to like your children, of course you got to tell them no, because your children will ask you for anything. Let me give you a prime example. My child tried me this holiday season for the Halloween, honey. My child thought she was going to spend $150 on a costume for one day because she didn't want a costume. She wanted to get a wig and the leggings and a skirt and a vest and a wand because she wanted to create a fantasy character. And she had to understand no, because she had to bring some grades up. You understand what I'm saying? Yes,
Right.
A2. These kids are very much wild. But as far as who was my biggest influence, it was my grandmother. Now, my
Mm.
grandmother was a holiness minister. So, child, my grandma would tell you no in a heartbeat, honey, but she'll tell you no with some blessed oil, honey. Blessed assurance.
Yes, indeed. I
Yes.
understand. Whew, that was that holy no.
Yes, where you couldn't even say that. Like, let me give you a prime example. So, my grandmother used to live in Jacksonville. Now, every year I would go down there a couple times a year on breaks, the summer, you know what I'm saying, make sure she was all right or whatever. But at this time in life, I'm like 17. I finished high school. I'm trying to meet people in Florida, go outside. But again, remember, she a holiness minister. So in her house, we watching TBN all day, eating turnips and all the good nutritious stuff.
Yes.
Can I go outside? No, you don't know these people. You're not even from here. Like,
Yes, indeed.
so she always
Oh,
told me to keep my guard up and stay steeped in prayer. And even now, when y'all see me, y'all will see me cutting up. Those of you that haven't been in my page, if you come through, you're gonna see me cut up a time or two. But even then, I always have a little boundary of how far I'll go based on what my grandmother instilled in me when I was younger.
yes. And I most certainly understand that. How those major influences, as early as possible, are the things that generally stay with us the longest and have the most lasting effect. I know that coming up, my mother was the main one who taught us how to say no. And I'm sure she's listening right now. I might get a phone call later, but hey, she might get told on a little bit, just a smidgen. My mother had a policy where we couldn't tell her no. We could not tell her no. She could tell us no, but we couldn't tell her no. And so, what I learned was to be so afraid of disappointing her. being so afraid to tell her no that it took so many years before I ever told her no. As a matter of fact, I remember this one particular incident occurred, and where my mother had bought us some cereal, and I wasn't old, but I think I was grown.
Mhm.
It was one of those things where I was of age, maybe about 18, 19 or something. And I remember she bought us some cereal like she would always do, take us to the grocery store, buy some cereal or what have you. And at the time, I was like, Ma, you keep eating up all the cereal. And she says, well, I bought it, didn't I? And I'm like, oh, and it was something about that whole thing of when she turned around and asked me was, you mean to tell me that if I ask you for some cereal, you would tell me no? And I paused because I had never been posed with the question of, I'm not supposed to tell you no? I'm supposed to give you everything. I'm supposed to share everything with you. And it was one of those things that put a fear in me to the point where I eventually became quite a bit of a people pleaser. Now, of course, I've learned since then, that you must set boundaries and all of that. And but I knew how much of an influence that was that very moment that fear entered into me about saying no, uh, as it pertains to disappointment. Because she's like, I can't believe that you would tell your only mother, no, after all I've done for you. She just, buttered it up and zhuzhed it up real good, to where I just felt horrible about telling her no. But then, it was other people in my life that had that same effect. They put on, the waterworks, or they cry, or they would act real sad, and I wouldn't know how to tell them no. And so it took years, of course, some therapy and some more to finally come to that place where I was able to tell a person no again, or come to a place where I was able to say no, period. And so I know how much of how important it is to have the right people in your life teaching you and telling you how to have the proper no's and set the proper boundaries in your life. And when you don't have that, it could be horrible depending on you going on the outside or being out in the world and not being able to understand that you're going to have to tell someone no at some point in time. Um, and so I wanted to get your opinion. I think, did I talk to you already, Tip, about the growing of the no?
Yes.
Epi poo. I know I haven't spoken to you. You've been quite quiet. Um, but I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts as it pertains to the negative or the positive influences as it pertains to authority figures with that no?
Okay, my perspective on it. Um, I feel like me, I take more. I have the same response as to. I'm not sure who her name was, the lady that you guys just had on the panel. I feel like my nose were strongly. Give me 1 second. I think my earbuds went dead or something. Hold on 1 second. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, hear you just fine.
Okay. All right. My earbuds just died in my ear. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, but there's so much that has to be said about these things are being groomed as it pertains to these no's that need to be said but don't get said, mainly because of who we've allowed to come into our lives and speak to us.
That's interesting. So I've never had a problem saying no. So this conversation is very enlightening. I'm listening. So quick question. Um,
Hmm.
because my wife struggled with this
Hmm.
last
Hmm.
5 years of saying no and setting boundaries. And so let's say you had trouble saying no up into your 40s.
Hmm.
What was the defining moment? What was that thing to make you, reach rock bottom and make you start to develop boundaries?
Generally, it's I would say it's pain when you come to a place in your life where Um, you've literally had enough to the point where you're willing to do whatever it takes to take a stand for yourself. And sometimes, I mean, to be honest, some people need therapy. They have to do the groundwork of why that no has never been implemented properly. When you know the why of the things that you do, a lot of times you can unpack it and begin to discover what or your core beliefs are that are causing you to and I appreciate you Raw G. I appreciate you. Thank you. I know that your time was limited and I absolutely appreciate the points that you gave just a moment ago, sharing with us. And I know that anytime that you come in to support, I do not take that for granted. So thank you. But back to what I was saying to you, Mike.
Yes, ma'am. But
Um
hold on one moment before you finish that. You know,
okay,
one
go
thing
ahead.
that I noticed that you're missing.
Hmm.
Where's your cash app, ma'am?
Who?
Where's
uh
your cash app? Because you bring in good conversations. So you should have your cash app on your banner so that those that are here supporting you, if they want to support you and put a little love offering into your channel and your content, that they can.
okay, I will take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Because it's not in there and I do know that it's not in there. Add to the stage. Okay. But back to what I was saying, as it concerns, you have to go into the core belief system to find out why you say what you say. Because when you do not understand the core of why you do what you do, you will continue the cycle. You will continue the pattern that's been set. A lot of times people don't even understand how deep those core beliefs are because they've never taken the time to discover what they actually believe in, what they actually think. Um, um, I can't delve into the psychological portion. I'm myself am not a therapist. I am not a counselor by any means. However, I do understand what it is like to be in error as it pertains to believing things about yourself and about other people that cause you to make the same decisions over and over again. And sometimes you have to be able, be willing to say, or be willing to look at, and I'm talking about the individual who is struggling in that particular area. It's about taking a moment to not necessarily see the person that formulated that core belief as a villain, but more so understand that you were vulnerable in that state when you were taught what you were taught. But you don't have to continue to stay vulnerable now because you get the opportunity to teach yourself or parent yourself in a way that whether there was a parent that wasn't there for you or there was some kind of authority figure that taught you some things or whatever the case may have been that it's caused these no's to turn into yeses when they should be no's. Um, and like I said, it's the early stages in life where you learn what that no means, what your no means. But it is most certainly important to find out why do you think the way that you think? Where did you get
Right.
this from? You know.
So do you think, or do you believe that being a people pleaser and uh, finding it hard to say no, do you think that's hereditary, or do you think that's all they were groomed that way? Do you think there's instances where people just naturally are that way, or do you believe that for the most part it's they had some not trauma, but they had some effect as to why they developed that sense of needing to be a people pleaser?
Um, can I say it's hereditary? Mm, I don't know if I could necessarily say that it's hereditary. However, what I can say is because that almost leans towards the idea of generational curses. And I say that specifically because of the idea that someone can pass down an idea to you from layers and layers and layers of other people. When in fact, if your great grandmother taught a thing, and she taught the grandmother a thing, and the grandmother taught the mother a thing, 9 times out of 10, the daughter is going to do it too. And so you're talking about generations of bad decisions, generations of bad teaching, generations of bad ideology. Um, and when it comes to that, then you look at the thing of, well, why did great great grandmother teach this? Well, it could have been a thing about protection at one point in time. We're trying to stay alive. It could have been a thing about survival when it came to the next generation because of the trauma of that great grandmother. They're now teaching the grandmother, if you want to survive, you got to survive like I survived. You want to get out here and you want to do this, that, and the other. This is what you need to believe in order to survive. Well, she may know why her predecessors told her that without taking into consideration that she's in a different day and surviving a different time than her predecessor. And so um and you end up with traditions in that way. It's a tradition to think this way as a woman. It's a tradition to have these particular mechanisms and these particular kinds of ideologies and habits and things of that nature, all the way down to eating. We always eat ham hocks and hog maws and chitlins and all that on Thanksgiving. Why? Well, at one point in time, that was all you had because that was the scraps that were left to you. Now, I'm not coming against nobody eating no chitlins and hog maws. I don't care nothing about what you eat a bowl of hot dog and eat it if that's what you want to do, because I don't need that. But what I am saying is, when it comes down to the thing of why am I doing what I'm doing, a lot of it has to do with what they were taught and what they communicate to the next generation without questioning what they were taught.
No, I
That
agree.
is that is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Joyce Wood says a lot of women were raised up to have to do everything for everyone and put yourself last and never learn to say no, even to their detriment, and never learn to say no. That is true. That is ever so true. And for those who do not know, that is my whole mother in the chat, Miss Joyce Woods. That is my natural whole mama speaking
Aw.
to us. That's why I said, hey, I'm finna say something. She's probably listening in the background. I knew she was gonna comment eventually if I shouted her out. But I'm so glad that you're here listening, Mom. Appreciate you much.
That's a blessing.
Um, but that's the thing. That is a thing that I had to learn when I was in therapy. That some of the things that my mother taught me was because there were things that her mother taught her. And so I got to a point where I was willing to question, why do I think this way? Okay, I was taught this by this person. And I was given the opportunity to know, meet, and be around and raised up by with my grandmother, who is still living to this day. She's 94. There are a lot of things that I learned from being under her and seeing how she ran her household, things that she said, where I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to teach that. I don't want to follow in those steps. I get why she did it. I understand, and I had to ask questions. Everyone does not have that ability to ask the questions as far back as I was able to go, you know. But you can get with someone who does have an idea about why people formulate these kinds of ideas and why they follow along these patterns, even as my mother just said, to their own detriment. Did I answer your question, Mike? I'm sorry.
Yes,
I
you
just
did. No,
went
no,
on.
yes, you did. I'm here to listen. I'm not here
Mhm,
to educate. I'm here to listen. I just posed the question so that you can elaborate on if you feel it's majority
mhm.
tradition, like you stated, or are there certain instances where it's just innate? And the reason why I say that, not to be argumentative or play devil's advocate, but I
Oh,
was
by
thinking
all
of,
means.
yeah, I was
Mhm.
thinking about how you can raise, say you got a couple of kids and you raise them, you know, you have a solid foundation. Your mother has a solid foundation, the grandmother has a solid foundation, but one of the kids kind of goes astray, and it's like, who are you? You know,
Yes.
it's like, this is not what I taught you, and they just kind of go astray. So that's why I was asking, like, is there certain instances where it's just somebody's DNA crept in there, and they're just a people pleaser and can't say no, or is it just strictly all based on tradition and what they've been exposed to?
I would say this, that sometimes we don't know how much of an effect any of these things have, to be honest. Because there are people who have never met one side of their family. However, they carry some of those same characteristics and some of those same traits, um, and some of those same character flaws. With that being the case, I sometimes wonder about how much of those dynamics come into play. However, I understand that when it comes to certain environments, um, and when it comes to your upbringing, that generally has the most influence on an individual. I'm not saying that it is impossible for there to be uh, uh, in the DNA some kind of coding, because you do have a mother and you do have a father and they have you, and you don't know what dad did, you know, or you were with your father, you don't know what mother did at some point in time. But those things are eventually passed down from one person to the next. But I understand that environments matter, uh, influence matters, especially for those who are up close and personal. I think that what tends to happen, though, is people don't take into consideration how much of an influence that they are, and in more than one way. A lot of times people look at, oh, I'm raising my son to be a certain way as a mother, but we're not taking into consideration, how did the father respond to you? There are things that that young man is going to respond to as a man that while he's a child, he may not respond to a certain way. But when he gets older, he acts just like his father because you taught him certain things. And because that father was not there to show that actual response, you think that, oh, I don't know where he got this from. I didn't teach him that. When in fact, you're dating people according to who you are as a person. If you are a yes person, then you could be creating a dominating monster because you don't know how to say no. But all you like to, all that woman would like to say sometimes is, "Oh, all he want to do is control me. All he wants to do is blah 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 yakety schmackety." When in fact there could be elements about that individual, and this is not me hopping on women. I'm a woman too. I'm just understanding that as it pertains to the thing of, we only see things one way because when I was there, I told them such and such and so and so. But how much of that is being reflected to that individual in ways that you don't recognize because you're only seeing it from a parent to child relationship.
But can we talk about it real quick? Can we talk
Yeah.
about how, like, our mothers oftentimes don't like the things they see in us because it's parts of their personality and their dynamic that they aren't inherently in touch with?
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, I'm not going to get on no women either, but the reality is we are all like our mothers. And we
Yeah.
all have that one moment where we're like, dang, I'm acting just like her.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, some
that's
people
a
are both
bitter
ways.
pill. Yeah, that's a bitter pill to swallow because a lot of younger women have resentment and conflict issues with their parent because they don't want to be like their mom. But my mom is pretty dope. So when I have those moments, I'm doing something like my mom, I call her on the phone. I'll be like, listen here, old lady. I caught myself doing X, Y, and Z, and she cracks up. But I think that a key component in that is women actually fostering good relationships with their daughters, nurturing them, not trying to live vicariously through them. Whatever you didn't live in your life, that's your life, and you didn't live it. Okay. Going ahead and let your kids be absolutely great. Like my daughter, she's very much emo, whatever. Like that's, it's a little odd to me, but when she wants to wear her shorts over her leggings, I want her to be a fashionista, but that's not my life to live. I'm just
Mhm.
here to guide her on her way. And I think a lot of women, they try to rectify the missteps that they made in their life through their
Mhm.
daughters, because they don't even really do this through their sons, for real, for real. It's only through the
Mhm.
girls. We have to guide them to make better decisions, but not try to control them. And also, can we talk about how, as women, we need to pour more into our sons? A lot of
Yes.
women complain about how they lack emotional intelligence. Well, of course they do. We have a whole generation of men that were taught to stifle their emotions. So, how now, as grown up individuals, are they meant to just magically have this emotional intelligence? And
Yes,
women
indeed.
also, stop stifling your men. If your man, your whole grown man, has issues with emotions, it is your job to love on him and communicate with him so that he knows you are a safe space for him to release those emotions that he's been told his whole entire life he has to keep behind a wall, that he has to be so strong that it's never okay for him to have moments of weakness. We have to start really conceptualizing our men as the human beings that they are. Dave Floyd, keep your attitude to yourself, because sometimes when you're pissed off about something, you're putting negative energy on your partner. Y'all know how to journal. Y'all know how to talk to your girlfriend. I mean, don't talk to them too much because you don't want to put your friends in your business or whatever. But find a different outlet to vent. I'm
Mhm.
gonna be quiet though. I know that was real random. My bad.
No, that was
Now
dope
that
too.
now that that
It's
goes
good.
right along with what we're talking about, as it pertains to not being who we need to be as women in other people's lives, and then being in our children's lives, and then be surprised when we don't see the kind of reflection that we would prefer. um there are so many young boys and men that were just raised by their mothers, but mothers have a tendency to say, because who the father was not, this is why my child is like this. Because of what the father did not do, this is why my child is like this. On the other hand, I always think of it from the other perspective of, but what things were being taught? How much of your own personality are you willing to be accountable for the flaws that you see in that son or in that daughter? And I don't think a lot of times we have those real conversations. Because again, this is grown up conversations. We're not just talking about no. All of this falls underneath the taking the time to look in the mirror at ourselves as parents, taking the time to look at the men that we have and how we interact with them. They are responding off of how you act. They're responding off the energy that you give. They are learning from you from the moment they meet you up until this point. What have you taught them thus far in how to deal with you? How much of that interaction is modeled to your children, if they've even seen that, you know?
Well, how about, can we talk about this too? How about if you don't plan your child and you have a oops baby? How
Hmm.
about people need to start realizing you don't have the right to be selfish?
Mm,
A child has the right to look at their mother and their father in the best light. Your emotions and your feelings towards the other parent have no business in the scope of influence of that child on their parent. Because if their parent is who you feel that they are, then the shame is on you for choosing them to lay down with, unprotected, and procreate with. But just because that person is that way to you, it doesn't mean that they're going to be that way to their child. Another
mhm.
thing that grinds my gears too is a lot of women be complaining about child support. Yeah, it
Oh,
sucks. Yeah, I'm going there right now.
come on
It,
with it.
it sucks not to have financial support from a man, but it also sucks to put said man in jail because he's not financially supporting you. Putting him in jail is not going to make him financially support you any faster. That's just a way of being vindictive in a situation because they do give the mothers the choice to say whether it's to the point that they feel like the man should be incarcerated or not. Again, that's on the woman for poor choosing. But child support is not meant to be a supplemental income, in my opinion. In my
Mm-hmm.
humble opinion, child support should just be for the child. Put it in a savings account. Maybe you got to use a little bit to make ends meet here or there. But as a woman, you should be able to pay for the roof over your head. You should be able to pay for the car you drive. You should be able to
Yes.
keep your lights on. You should be able to feed your kid. And not because I'm judging women or whatever, but if that
Mm-hmm.
man were to pass away today, what would you do? You just wouldn't take care of yourself. You just wouldn't take care of your child. And what are women that behave in that manner? What are you teaching your children? You're teaching your children that if you can't make it, just go to the government because they're going to hold you down, POP. You're teaching your children that no, don't do better. Don't have ambition. Don't strive to be better. Depend on somebody else always. And is that the best education for partnership? Because there's a man on the panel, so he can correct me if I'm wrong. A woman that brings something to the table and that can build a family, build a foundation is more attractive overall than a woman that has her hand out. Because, like I said before, sometimes men are weak. Things happen in the economy. We're all grown now. So nobody should still be living in a Disney fairy tale. Your husband or your partner could get laid off of work today or tomorrow, just like you. So should we be spending every piece of money that comes in the house on frivolous trinkets that make us feel good in a moment? Or should we be diversifying financial portfolios, saving for a rainy day in case something happens, making sure we are using, you know what I'm saying, flexible spending accounts appropriately, doing our income matching with the job with the 401k. But usually when I'm in spaces on social media, they're not looking at the reality of relationships. They're not looking at the realities of marriage. They're not looking at the realities of raising children. A lot of people that speak on this are speaking from a narcissistic place. And ultimately, that ties it right back into that no. Because you were told no so much as a child, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people have a diametrically opposite reaction as adults. Well, they said I couldn't have it. So I'm gonna have this, and this. Give me six of them, different colors, different sizes. I need it all. No, you don't. You were told no as a child to teach you boundaries and limitations. So that you know, yes, sometimes you may have it to do, but everything that looks good is not good for you. I'm be quiet though. I'm be quiet.
But you speaking nothing but facts. Truth be told, it's not always the thing of um everything being about just trying to make ends meet. It is a thing of some women are like, I want my child to have the best. And so they get the six pair of Jordans. They get the PS5, 6, 7, and 12s. You know, no matter what comes out that's new, the children have new iPhones nowadays. Brand new ones. And I'm like, just because the other one uh is there, it wasn't good enough because the new one came out. And it's all because someone told them, no, you can't have this, you can't have that. You're not going to be able to, and because of that, the lack of stewardship as it pertains to the money that is coming in, if it's any coming in, or the money that they have themselves. It's more so about how I can show up the Joneses, how I can make my child shine better than someone else when and then have to fight and scrape to keep the lights on, or when that child gets grown, that child is 18 years old now, and now you no longer have the ability to have children, and you can't get that Section 8 anymore. You can't get those food stamps anymore. We just saw what just happened with food stamps just a minute ago. What happens when you come to a place where you're no longer able to rely on the support of someone else or the system? And I think a lot of times those things get just dismissed completely. Um, we just happen to have the majority of the panel is married. Um, And one thing that I can say is, number one, I salute you all and am so appreciative of you all making the commitments that you all have made. And that's not to be disparaging against anyone that is not married. I am unmarried myself, never been married. Um, but it's one of those things that I take into consideration that you all provide, and with you all being the majority of the panel, you all provide an example to others that you do not have to go along with the program. You do not have to go along to get along. You do not have to do the same things that others do to get by, but you can actually make the decision to have, even if you don't have children with your spouse, you can get with someone and marry them and have a successful marriage that you're willing to fight for, that you're willing to sacrifice for, that you're willing to be there. And with that, being willing to raise your children to the best of your ability, to make sure that you're providing for them to the best of your ability as well. And so I take my hat off to you all, and tip my head and do a curtsy. I don't know what women do. I don't know what the saying is, but I most certainly salute you all who have made that decision.
Okay, well, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I had one question, if I may.
Absolutely.
I wanted to unpack what I don't know, the young lady that was speaking. She mentioned, and I forgot. Is it emotional intelligence?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Define that for me. But before you define that, you mentioned that, or somebody mentioned, I think it was Tina, or it may have been you, that most boys are raised by their mother. So I hear a lot of people say that women are more emotionally intelligent than men, which I won't argue that, because women are better communicators. Men, we will shut down because we don't use words, we use actions. So when things get tense, we use less words, and we're ready for action. And so when we interact with women, of course, we don't use action, we just shut down. So since a lot of boys are raised with their mothers, why are men lacking in emotional intelligence if their main influence is the mother? But before you answer that, what's the definition of emotional intelligence? Because I hear so many different definitions, and I truly, honestly want to know what you women think that definition is.
Okay, so did you want me to answer, or you just want the panel in whole to answer?
I want you to answer first because you said it, but I want to get all of the women's definition because I'm genuinely curious because I don't know. I just know what I am as a man. Men use fewer words, men shut down quicker. So I just know the man part. So I just want to know what the emotional intelligence piece is about.
So, with emotional intelligence, is four parts. It's self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management, right? So, self-awareness is knowing your feelings, right? A lot of men don't necessarily tap into the whole spectrum of emotion, right? In my experience, and I'm sure a lot of people can correlate this, it's usually happy or angry or just chilling. There's a whole spectrum of emotions in between that. And a lot of men don't necessarily know how to label that. So if you don't know how to label that, you don't necessarily know what space you're operating out of. Like, for instance, if you feel angry during a meeting, but then you realize it's because you're tired, not because the idea in and of itself was bad. Being self-aware in that instance will let you know, oh no, I'm not really angry. I'm just tired. I need an energy drink. I need a cup of coffee or something like that. Now, the self-management portion of that is when you're angry in that meeting, controlling your emotions and staying calm, giving yourself moments to have introspection. Well, I'm feeling like this. Like I'm about to crash out right now. Is it really necessary? 9 times out of 10, it's not. Because even if you're upset, you could take a deep breath and speak calmly. And then the social awareness aspect of it is the empathy. Like, oh, you look sad today. You okay? Instead of just being in your head like, damn, they look sad. So I'm just leave them alone. That's that social awareness. And relationship management is, hey, I have an issue with you today. This is how I'm actually feeling. This is what's going on. How do we resolve it instead of just arguing with each other? Now, to the second portion of your question, a lot of boys are raised with their mothers, so why they don't know it? Truth be told, a lot of women don't have emotional intelligence. I know they want to think that they are the queen pin on emotional intelligence. They're not. They're
Mm-hmm.
not. It's a lot of catty conversations, and a lot of women don't really know what the hell is going on with them in the first place. They be mad as hell at everything, and really, they are overstimulated. They are exhausted, overworked. They are feeling resentment because I'm gonna tell you the truth that a lot of women won't tell you. They resent them damn kids because they really didn't want them to begin with. All these oops babies leads to I can't stand these MFers. That's why you have people running around here talk about some F these kids. It ain't never F these kids when you planned them and you chose them. It's F
Mm-hmm.
these kids when they was a surprise and you thought you was gonna have happily ever after and it didn't work out. So because these women don't go to therapy and they don't deal with the heartbreak of rejection and they don't know how to properly channel their emotions, they place these emotions on the shoulders of their children. And then they create distance and ruckus between the other parent. So when they could have those moments to rest and replenish, those moments are taken away because they've created such tension and animosity between the day. So what do our boys learn? Our boys learn to be quiet. Our boys learn to be invisible. Our boys learn to feel like they don't have a voice. And then when they are out the house and they're grown, it's just like women with no. You're not going to tell a grown man no that's grown up in a house where he didn't have a voice because he's going to make you understand you don't have the power to tell him that. His mama did, but you don't. And this is how we have toxic relationships, from my opinion.
I can add to that, um, in agreement with the fact that most women do not know their own emotions from being stressed and what have you. Not only that, um, in all of the expression that women have emotionally, how much of it actually speaks to what they're really feeling? I see a lot of crash outs. I see a lot of anger. I see a lot of tears. But some of those tears are manipulation. Some of that anger, yes, there is some anger. And just as Raji said just a second ago, it is more so about resentment because of the position that they're in life. But one of the things that I've noticed is that there are a lot of them, a lot of women, you can ask them, what's wrong? And their answer is, I don't know. I don't know. Um, when it comes to emotional intelligence, I think it is essentially just the ability to communicate to someone else effectively how you feel. That's it. It's just being being connected to and able to communicate how you feel.
Anybody else want to add to that?
Tip, Epi Pooh, Yolanda, Too Real. Anybody want to say anything? Y'all got quiet on me.
No,
Um,
I can just agree with it. So that's why you guys are making all of the right points. So I can truly, honestly just agree.
So I'm sorry. So emotional intelligence is not gender specific. It's just the ability to communicate how you feel in a mature way to where you can course correct or you know fix the situation basically, right? It's not gender
No,
specific.
I did
no.
not add the other things to it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tiffany. Would you?
Correct.
Tiff.
I was just going to say emotional intelligence to me is it's about knowing how to act and how to react and not let and allow for your emotions to embarrass you. even when somebody tries to get you off your square. And that's when you know that you have reached emotional intelligence. So I don't think that it has anything to do with male or female.
Okay, because I agree with what everybody said. I was just wondering because online I see that emotional intelligence is kind of like catered to a woman's strength versus a man's weakness. So I was just curious as to what the definition was and if it was gender specific. But I agree with what was the young lady that was speaking? They gave the 4 parts of the emotional intelligence.
It's Raji. Yes,
Raji,
sir.
that's what I thought. Okay, Raji was she brought out 4 key points. I mean, that's really manhood, knowing your feelings. Well, I would disagree. No, I would disagree on the first point, knowing your feelings, because men are more linear thinkers. So we don't think on the spectrum. So to her point, she was saying we'll think one way, one extreme, or the other extreme. So I would have to agree with that. We're more linear. And so to, I guess, develop emotional intelligence, we would have to be more on the spectrum and learn how to process the whole spectrum and not just go from A to Z. She said controlling your emotions. That's another trait that's stoicism. That's what we teach each other, to be stoic. Stay in the moment, stay in frame. Don't get emotional. Don't get out of character. Stand on principle. So I agree with that. I guess that would be a facet of emotional intelligence and social awareness. Men are also taught read the room because we're supposed to be protectors. So you got to be able to read the room and see danger, or you got to be able to read the room and see if a woman's uncomfortable or comfortable. These are things that we're taught in the dating strategy. So that also lends to the definition of emotional intelligence. And then she said relationship management, arguments, that goes along with reading the room. When you know your woman is feeling a certain way, don't pile on. You got to be able to read the room. If she's feeling stressed out or whatever the case may be, you're supposed to be able to read your partner. So I agree with the definition. I was just more so wanting to hear what you ladies thought about the definition and if it was gender specific. Because, like I said, online, I'm led to believe online, which I don't believe, but I'm led to believe online that that's a woman's strength and the men need to get on board with it. And I was just wondering if that was, how you ladies felt.
Okay, so let's talk about these conversations online. Can we?
Absolutely.
The,
Yes. Oh, hold on, but just a moment before we go there.
okay.
There was one question that I wanted to get anyone who's willing to speak to it, because this is something I had just posted it just a second ago. Yolanda
Hey,
was asking about how do you know if it's manipulation or not.
If
hey,
what's manipulation? Mhm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Anthony's.
hey, y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to break it up. I was about to say I'm finna drop down. I was gonna try to stay home, but I'm about to go in the restaurant and it's gonna be really loud. But I really enjoyed y'all. I'm gonna keep listening, but I'm just get down off the panel and listen in the comments.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Turia.
Okay,
Appreciate
y'all.
you.
All
Yeah,
right,
so it was
y'all.
nice
I
meeting
enjoyed you
you.
guys. Thank you. You know what? I'm just gonna go on mute and leave my phone because I don't even want to mess nothing up. But I just don't want y'all to call my name and y'all think I stepped away. But I'ma just go on mute so I don't hit the wrong button or nothing.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony's. Appreciate that.
Thank you,
All right,
Anthony.
y'all.
This is the question that was posed. How do you know if the tears are manipulation or if they're actually hurt?
Well, I feel like if somebody is crying, it's not up to us to judge if they're manipulation or not, right? Because somebody's emotion that they're sharing is their emotion. It's your job in that moment just to be there for them in that instance. Just because somebody crying, like this gentleman, he could cry. I could give him a hug. I could pat him on his back. Now, if after that whole tear fest, he like, and you know what, and you know what, can I hold $200? I'm gonna be like, no, but I'm glad you're feeling better. Like that, that's the part of emotional intelligence that I feel like women don't have. Women will sit there and they'll talk all of that stuff, and then they'll turn around and say how a man played them out of everything. So if you are emotionally intelligent, how you getting played out of anything? You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
I'm be quiet though. I'm be quiet.
No, 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 no. You in there now. You in there. Because I think it's legitimate thing to consider as it pertains to you're speaking to the emotion that you see. A person is crying, which could indicate sadness, could indicate frustration, could indicate a whole lot of things, disappointment. Beyond the tears, though, there are words attached to those tears. That's when you can make the judgment call of whether or not did you cry so you can, or do you think that your tears are going to trigger me into moving a certain way or acting a certain way. But that comes with relationship. This is not just a thing of um I just saw somebody crying sitting on the bus stop and I went to go see, and I'm pointing my finger at you just trying to manipulate people into giving you a ride. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying though is there are times where when you're in relationship with a person and you notice patterns, but the patterns come with what is being expressed along with whatever emotion seems to be being presented to from a person as it pertains to their tears, at least anyway.
Exactly. Shannon,
I
what
don't
didn't
allow
make
for
any
tears
sense
to
to
sway
you?
my judgment. Sorry.
What were you saying about the tears, love?
I was just saying I don't allow for tears to necessarily sway my judgment, especially when it comes to a yes or no. Tears are just an objective that I have to overcome. But generally, my decision is going to be made up on if it's going to be a yes or no. So the tears is just overcoming an objective.
Hmm.
And I agree because my kids use tears all the time too. That's why I use the analogy of the $200. My kids will come in there with the candy, like Halloween. They had all the candy. Can I have some candy, please? No, you crying, but here's a hug. You feeling better? You still not getting no candy. That's why I was confused when Shannon said that didn't make no sense. I don't know how much clearer that example can be.
Hmm. But what were you about to say? You were gonna touch on some things, Raji.
Yes, in these spaces, and then I'ma go back to the wife thing. But in these spaces, these people are miserable.
Hmm.
These people are trying to give you the cheat codes for a POV game. If you are in a relationship with somebody else, you
Hmm.
are in a relationship with somebody else, not the person
Hmm.
sitting next to you, not the person sitting next to them. And this is why a lot of people do not have successful relationships. Y'all are looking for superheroes on the internet, and these people don't have successful, sustainable, long term relationships. And even people that present successful, sustainable, long term relationships, you don't know what they got going on behind the scenes. It could be sparkles and glitter up front, and then but as soon as they get off a live stream, it could be a whole fight. Y'all don't know that. Stop having couple goals, relationship goals,
Hmm.
anything. I
Hmm.
think some people in your personal life can give you advice that can be meat and bones. You know what I'm saying? You take the meat, you spit out the bones. But random
Hmm.
strangers on the internet, they don't got no relationship advice for you. These people are focused on dates that they're not having, looking to
Hmm.
spend up people's money that they don't have. Women are telling you the parameter of a good man is if he has a six-figure income. Guess what? There's a lot of good men that they don't have a six-figure income when they're starting out. But before it's all over with, they have a six-figure income. Women are looking for men with wealth while they are on social services. My girl, you're not going to find a man that's wealthy that is not, you know what I'm saying, if they're not in your social circle in the first place. So you have people out here with champagne dreams and beer money. Like, right, if you can't afford to take yourself to the oyster bar, don't go out with a man that's going to the oyster bar. Now you want to get 7,000 plates of oyster. Stop being greedy and shit like that on a first date. Rule number one, if you going on a date, you should have money in your pocket to cover your date, especially if
Mm-hmm.
it's the first date with a stranger. You should
Mm-hmm.
also have money for the Uber. You should also be able to, in the middle of that dinner, go to the waitress, like, hey, yo, let me pay for mine, and just tell him you going to the bathroom and dip out the door. I don't really understand how so many women are going on these bad relationships. Y'all shouldn't be mixing finances. You don't mix no finances with no man unless that's your husband. What are we
Mm-hmm.
talking about? Because then you have a household. Stop letting these men just move into your house and live off of you. And men, stop letting these bum bitches just move in your house and live off you too. If they can't hold their shit together, then are they really a viable partner for you? They're not.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. That's the true manipulation of it all. It's the total package, not just the tears. But seeing a girl husband just came home. So thank you for having me here. I'm enjoying the conversation and I'm gonna listen in for as long as I can. But we got a Frasier marathon. So you know.
I understand. I understand. Thank you for your time. I most certainly have appreciated your commentary. Thank you for all that you've done tonight. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Bye y'all.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Eh, All right. You'll have a good night.
Nice meeting you too. Good night.
Um, y'all heard that. Ain't no such of a thing as couple goals. It's a fallacy. It is something that people just place on the internet just to say that they got something going on when nobody knows what kind of problems that they have, what kinds of um what kinds of things that people have as far as their own character flaws. It's, I mean, it just doesn't. And then this and another thing too, using credit cards to be in Bali, to be somewhere in Jamaica, to be, well, not right now, but be somewhere off into another space, another place that is extremely expensive. And people look at these the Facebook, and they look at TikTok, and they look at the things that people are placing on YouTube and try to pattern their life behind that. And I would discourage anyone from doing that, looking at what somebody else has, what someone else is doing, and what camera shots they're getting, and trying to pattern their life after that. That's most certain. Um, okay. I don't know why. It said you weren't on the set, but I guess you left and came back. Um, and so my thing is now at this point, because we've talked about quite a bit here today. Um, what do you all think as it pertains to some of these bad relationships, as it pertains to the things that we have allowed? It's kind of hard to ask you all, but I know that you all have some input because unless um, your spouse was the first person you ever met, and the only person you ever dated, and the only person you ever married, I'm sure that you can discuss or touch on what it is to be in situations that you need to walk away from, the no's that you need to have, the red flags that you need to watch out for. What do you think that some people are missing nowadays as it pertains to red flags? Don't all y'all jump in at once either. You seem so excited.
I mean, some people just flat out ignore it. It could be there
Hmm.
right in their face, and some people have this fantasy or facade that um this idea they have in their head of what they think it should be, even though
Hmm.
that situation is staring them directly in their face. They'll bona fidely ignore it until it almost takes them down, and then they're like, I should have paid attention, a long time ago. And yeah, you should have, because then you're left with trying to heal, trying to recover, trying to, get yourself together for something that you should have paid attention for, instead of living in the fantasy world of what you thought it should be.
Hmm.
Man, I ran back to the computer so fast when I heard this question.
Oh yes.
Let
Hmm.
me just say real quick. Humans are selfish. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
make this a man or woman thing. Humans are selfish. We love
Hmm.
an experience. We will ignore a red flag just to experience somebody. I'm gonna talk from a man's point of view. If you've never had a woman with a Coke bottle shape, with the perfect body, no stomach, you'll ignore every red flag just to take a ride on that roller coaster.
Hmm.
Because you're selfish. We know better. We know that she's toxic. We know that she's not long term. We know her morals and her values don't align. But there's something inside of us that loves an experience and wants to test drive that thing, even though we know it's no good for us. And so selfishness is the reason why we ignore red flags, men and female. I'm sure females look at guys and be like, man, I know he ain't about the right, but you know, and they fly right
Hmm.
through that red light. So to just not to over explain that would be the reason for ignoring red flags. It's just selfishness and wanting to experience something that we've never experienced before, not even considering the outcomes.
Yes, indeed. Um, I do believe that most people are selfish, and as it relates to just wanting to have whatever that fantasy is. Period. And we've been sold a dream that you can have whatever fantasy that you want. You've been sold a dream in society. You've been sold a dream. I hate to say it. Dare I say? Oh, here we go. In church too, that you can have everything that you want, everything at your fingertips, because all you got to do is A, B, and C. Twirl around, dance, and jump over the pew and put in an offering. And that's not the case. People like to have their 10 steps to having a wonderful marriage. There are 10 steps to have finding the right woman or the right man. You know, everyone is looking for an easier way out to get to their fantasy. And that's just not how real life pans out to be. Epi Poo, do you have anything that you want to say?
Yes, I was just, being patient, let everybody talk and stuff like that. But I feel like there's a bunch of different reasons why people ignore red flags. Sometimes a lot of people ignore red flags when they've been through trauma. Like a lot of people go through trauma, growing up in unhealthy relationships. It can make them feel like, unhealthy, like maybe they was in a household where people was yelling a lot, or they witness an abusive relationship. They might think that that's normal. They might think that might be their normal. That might be something that they feel like is healthy. Like that's the only thing they knew. They grew up around that. So the manipulation, the cheating, the telling you, hey, everything's gonna be okay, and then turning around and doing something, to make you feel low or make you feel less than. A lot of people have those issues.
Hmm. Yeah, that is so true. Um, yeah, and that's the thing about having it in your mind that you just gonna do what you want to do anyway. Like regardless to what anyone else says, you don't have anybody in your ear that is a reliable source of um not discernment. That's not the word I'm trying to use, but a reliable
Mhm.
source of information, a
Yeah.
reliable source of wisdom, a
Hmm.
reliable source of any kind of example, to
Yes,
people, because people will tell you stuff, but they're not living by the things they're telling you.
that
They
is
just
so
tell you
true.
whatever feels good at the moment or may make them sound good. But when you don't have a reliable source of counsel, yes, thank you, Mike. When you don't have that reliable source of counsel, you can be steered in the wrong direction real easily, and you can literally have a desire to know something that's good or would be befitting for your life. But as long as you have your ear open to foolishness, and as long as you have your ear open to people who don't have any proof, have not shown any growth, has not shown you anything that you can literally walk out yourself, then a lot of times we're just listening to a fantasy being told by somebody else that want a fantasy themselves, and that could be the fantasy of having somebody willing to listen to them.
Yeah. That's true. Also, I feel like a lot of people, they put, you know how people make those that pros and cons list. They try to make that pros list be so high and the cons list be so low
Mm-hmm.
because out of fear of being alone, or they just thinking about, but we had so many good times. Their good qualities outweigh their bad qualities. Oh, they
Mm-hmm.
apologize, or empty promises they might have promised you.
Hmm. Yes, indeed. And that's the hard part about really not taking the time to properly vet the people that are in your ear. 'Cause folk will tell you anything.
Sure will.
People will tell you anything. We have actually been up here for quite a while. Um, 2 hours and 15 minutes exactly. Um, do we have anything on the stage that we want to address, talk about? Do you have any final thoughts as we prepare to leave this stage? Because we've had some grown up conversations tonight, but do you all have anything that you want to add before we get out of here? Tiff's, Tiff.
I would say um, that no's are healthy, and it's healthy for you to tell people no, because sometimes the no that you give to someone is the no that is going to get them into the infinite yes space. Sometimes a no is about growth, and it's about pruning. And if you keep telling someone yes when they're going through trials and tribulations, and you just keep solving the problem for them, then you are actually hindering their growth and getting them to the next level. So the next time that someone is possibly asking you, hey, I need you to pay my electricity bill, and you've paid this electricity bill for them, a couple of times already this year, or their phone bill, maybe they need to hear that no in order for them to stop repeating that particular action. Maybe they need that no in order to get them to their next wealthy space. Maybe it's you are blocking a blessing by continuing to provide them with a yes, and that no is what is going to help them grow. So that's just my final thought.
Amen to that. We have someone just entered into the stage before we get out of here. Um, Shannon. First question of the day. I mean, before you get started, are you a content creator?
No, no, I'm not.
Okay, not a content creator. Well, could you at least introduce yourself? What's your name?
It's Shannon. How y'all doing?
All right. Um,
What's going on, Shannon?
we appreciate you coming to the stage. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Uh, Me personally, I think dating really has become transactional between women and men.
Hmm.
Women out here looking for money, men out here looking for sex. We didn't really let it affect the community, and we didn't let it affect the kids. Um, and a lot of these conversations, hopefully, you know, um, it helps us come together so we can better our community for the kids, going forward. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yes, I do agree with you that relationships nowadays have, in fact, become transactional, and that's mainly because people aren't willing to work for what they want. If they can find out, and when I say work for what they want, I'm not talking about going to get a job or going to get something that will help to sustain them financially. But what I mean is making the exchange to go the short route or the to go to take shortcuts to get what they want rather than investing the time, talking to the person, getting to know who they are, um, doing the proper vetting that is instead of just putting out there, breasts and thighs, or putting out there a wallet, so to speak, and that's how things end up becoming transactional because no one is taking the time to find out who is that person. Who is that person? And on top of that, everyone is not looking to get into committed relationships that lead to marriage. And so when you don't have marriage, if you're not marriage minded, then it's easy for you to date, and from one person to the next person. And all you got to do is just, have a cute face and a smile, and have a wallet with a couple of flashlights in your pants legs. And so this the hard part about life is so many people are willing to exchange so much of themselves that they devalue themselves, not willing to just share that with in an intimate space that would lead to marriage.
Yeah,
Were
it's
you
actually
about to say
hard for
something? I'm sorry, go ahead, Shannon.
no, it's actually hard for men to even date like that. When it comes to just dating this woman and this woman, like, um, when we got to finance the dates, we don't want to be dating 4, 5 different women because that's a lot of money out of our pocket. I don't even necessarily think men even go into the dating world with that type of thought process where I'm dating 4, 5 different women. I don't even think that.
Well, I don't even mean the whole dating them at one time. I'm talking about going from one person to another person to another person because there's no commitment. There's no real commitment. And when it's like that, you have people that are spending money, laying in beds with people, and they don't really care about what it is that they're actually investing because they don't intend on investing their heart. They don't intend on having any kind of commitment. They're just there for a good time and not a long time. And that's what I mean as it pertains to not having the mindset of, I want to do this for the long haul. And when you go in a relationship with, I want eventually to get to that place where I'm settling down with a person to go for the long haul, then it's an open door policy. I can leave when I get ready. I don't have to be here. I don't have to deal with them for so long. They was cute, but I can get another one that looks even better. When you or that man has some money, but I can get with another one that even has more. That's what I mean by the mindset of, I'm not married to them. It doesn't cost me anything.
Hmm.
That mindset of, we don't have a house together necessarily. Now you have some people that get together and they in houses and financially connected and all of that. And we were talking about that earlier. Raw G made those points. But the thing about it is when you're talking about people that aren't looking to get with someone because they're looking for a spouse. That's why you have so many people that are just trying to make transactional. It's basically a business venture. I'm trying to get as much as I can with as little effort as possible. And that's what you have nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
How old are you, Shannon?
31.
Oh, you're still young. Okay. Are
That's
you
young.
dating? Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm 47. So yeah, that's young. That's young.
No, I ain't dating. I'm actually married.
Okay, how long you been married?
Actually, I just got married early this year.
Man, congratulations.
Congratulations.
I
Congratulations.
appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Are y'all married?
Absolutely. 20 years this past September.
Uh,
Congratulations, Shannon.
thank you, thank you.
You got any
So,
kids?
no, I don't even like kids.
Oh,
Oh
that man
wow.
says he
Oh
don't even
wow.
like kids.
Wow.
No,
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I'm,
Well, we
I'm
know
cool
if
on
he have some, it'll be oops.
that.
Exactly.
Facts.
Nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Man,
So basically, what you
many.
said.
Go ahead,
Oh
Shannon.
no, sorry. You can go ahead.
I was just gonna say, man, many blessings to you, man. It's a long journey. The woman that you know now, the man that you are, that you think you are now, all of that's gonna change because that's just how life goes. We all kind of, absorb life and kind of grow and develop into new parts of ourselves. So I just want you to make sure that you stay in tune with your wife as far as communication, because we are going to grow apart, not in a negative way, but we're all going to grow in a direction that may see different paths than what you guys started out on. So just make sure you stay in tune with your wife. Um, Communicate. Make sure your values still align. I don't know how spiritual you are, but uh, just try to make sure whatever values you have, may they be spiritual or not, just make sure they stay in tow, because that's usually what breaks relationships. When the values shift, then you start to look at your spouse like who are you, and that's what growing apart means. The things that you started off with that was important to you shift because of life and because of growth and because of personality shifts or value shifts. So just stay in tune with your wife, stay in tune with yourself. Make sure you guys stay connected at all costs, because life is going to get in the way. I won't say kids get in the way, because you don't want any kids, but life still is going to get in the way. And you got to make sure you stay connected, because once there's separation, once you turn into roommates, then that's when the divide comes in, and that's when the values start to shift, and that's when you look up one day and both of y'all are strangers. you know so
Mm.
just stay
Yeah,
connected with your wife.
it took me a long time to get to this to some sort of marriage mindset wise. And I had to go through certain things to realize that having a significant other is very important. Um, yeah, it was certain things that I had to go through to realize that, because a lot of women that I was dealing with, when I got into marriage mindset, I had to realize that it's really not. And I don't mean to even come at women as a whole, but I'm just saying it wasn't a lot of wives to really even pick from. So when I really did find one that I thought was marriage minded, I jumped on it fast,
I
like real
mean, this is
fast.
true. It's the truth. It's not a. Oh, it's a lot of women that think they're wives. Uh, and I'm not afraid to quote the scripture: "He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor from the Lord." The thing is about it is you got to find it. Anything you got to
Hmm.
find is not plentiful, And so that's the thing about having the mindset and having the eyesight, the perception to be able to see her when you saw her and grasp on to that opportunity as it presented itself. I salute you, brother. I pray that you all's union is as fruitful as it needs to be. But I most certainly desire you to have nothing but success in your marriage, most certainly.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
we're going to be wrapping up here. I think, Yolanda, did you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I just wanted to say, as always, thank you so much. It was so timely. It's so uh I can't find the words, but it's just so amazing that how sometimes you'll go through things on the precipice of a topic that comes up, and you
Hmm.
seem to have gone through it either previously or right in the thick of whatever the topic is.
Hmm.
Um, so I was able to extrapolate so many good points that I can use going forward to work on things like letting that no be no without feeling like I have to explain myself, regardless if it's family, if it's a friend, if it's a child, or what have you. Um, I know, in a lot of cases, people might think because you're older, it's easier to say no. In some instances, it is, and others, it it's not. So this was definitely needed and refreshing for me. I can't necessarily speak for how it made anyone else feel, but I know for me, it was uh, right on time because everything I've gone through in the past 2 days have kind of fallen right along in line to a lot of the things that I've heard tonight. So just I'm grateful for you and grateful for everyone on the panel that came in and shared. Um, it's much appreciated. So that's it. I'm not gonna take too much more time.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Most certainly want to get your final thoughts, Mike, as we close this down. Tip, I'm coming back to you because you gave your final thoughts before we had some more things that we talked on or was spoken on. So if you had anything else to say, most certainly want you to go after Mike. Mike, if you would.
I appreciate the panel. I appreciate the discussion. I'm always curious about what others think more so than what I think. I know what I think. I talk to myself every day, all day, but
Mhm,
there's no growth in me talking. There's growth in me listening. So I love these conversations because I'm always interested in where's the disconnect? Where do we agree? And then where do we disagree? And why do we disagree? So when you find the disconnect, then you can understand. You may not agree, but you can still understand. Oh, okay, now I understand why you went left and I went right.
mhm,
And knowledge is power. Understanding is even more power. So I love these conversations to where we can, chop it up and understand each person's point of view because communication is so powerful. Perspective is so powerful. We can both
mhm,
look at the same picture and come up with five different variations, and they can all be accurate. And so just because I see something a certain way doesn't mean I can't validate how you see it or can't respect how you see it. So I always appreciate these panels to give me a different perspective because I'm just human, just like everybody else. So for me to act like I got all of the right answers and I'm only right and everybody else is crazy is asinine. So
mhm.
I just want to thank you for allowing me to come up and just soak up the game and give a good exchange.
If there's someone that is requesting for you to drop your channel, drop your link in the comment section. King Explicit, I
Okay.
see you as always. I appreciate your presence. I saw you and Ellen. Um, thank you for stopping by if you desire to. I know this is a long one, longer than normal, where we have headed into our 2.5 mark, 2.5 hour mark. And I appreciate you all for showing up into the chat miss. And if you'd like to be kind and rewind, as I love to say. Um, Mike, thank you for all that you have added to. You have added so much wisdom to this panel tonight. I appreciate your dialogue. Um, and anytime I get the opportunity to talk to you and Shannon as well, talk to young men, it is always a blessing. Thank you for you taking the time out to come up, ask some questions, and give your commentary as well. Tiff, how would you like to wrap this up?
Oh, I just wanted to say I'm not going to be long winded. Just a great panel. I appreciate the discussion, being able to put in some input, but also just me being a listener, being able to just learn something different. I loved being able to just hear from Mind Chaos Brew. She just brought some really great information to the table. To the gentleman, just appreciate you guys coming up here. It's hard, and a lot of times the gentlemen don't want to jump onto the panel with the ladies, but I appreciate you guys just coming up and your transparency and just sharing your stories. So that's it. Thank you so much for having me, Miss Tina.
Thank you. Epi Pooh, I appreciate you. Tiff, I most certainly appreciate you. Yolanda, I most certainly appreciate you and your openness to ask the questions as well. Kiss from Jay. I know she stepped down. She was up here. Raw G. I was glad that she was up here as well. She stepped down. And Anthony's two real my co-hosts who had to step out earlier. I am so glad for you, ladies and gentlemen. All of you all have added so much to this conversation, so much more than I expected. Of course, grown up conversations are just that, they're grown up. This is not a child space, but it is the space where we can be able to exchange intellectual conversation and dialogue. I appreciate all of you all coming to Intentionally Random. And like I always love to say, thank you all for coming out to the Intentionally Random broadcast. God bless you.
Miss
And
Miss Tina,
stop
I
it.
don't I don't want to interrupt, but I did see in the chats that Miss Kiss from Jay had asked, she says she feels it very strongly. If you would pray for everybody.
Mm. Mhm.
The ones on the panel and everybody in the chat.
Okay, I will. Isn't this something? Those of you all, and you know how I do, those of you all who do not have the same faith, you can excuse yourself. I have no problem with that at all. But for those of you all, I do believe in Jesus, just so we can get that out of the way. And so I'll pray. Father, in Jesus' name, thank you. Thank you for the words that have been spoken. Thank you for the things that we have been able to talk about tonight. You know, we prayed even before this broadcast, this panel, this night even started. God, you know every conversation. You know every individual who had questions, who had comments, that were listening with their ears, listening with their hearts, listening with their spirits on their sleeve, desiring to hear something that could better their lives, hear something that can give them what they needed in this hour. God, we asking that you allow none of the words that were said tonight to not just trigger, but to bring any hurt, harm, or danger to anyone that have heard these things under the sound of our voices. Give clarity where clarity is needed. Give encouragement where encouragement is needed. Protect those that didn't even know how to guard their hearts with all diligence. And God, we're just asking you tonight, Lord, that you continue to protect everyone tonight. Thank you for those that were willing to share, because it was you that orchestrated this night. A good man's steps are ordered by the Lord. And God, we thank you for this ordering this night. We give you praise for it. And we thank you for whatever it is that you're doing, even in this prayer, for whatever that reason may be, God. We give you glory for it. And we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank y'all for coming out. Wasn't expecting that, but of course, it's intentionally random for an intentional reason. Randomly
Exactly.
Amen.
intentional. Um, Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you and good night.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody. It's nice
Good
being with you.
night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.